This video will cover Empower Connect basics. Once you download the EMP Service Suite, there are several ways to find Empower Connect. You can do so by clicking on your Windows menu and searching for the EMP Tools folder. Within that folder, Empower Connect is there. Also, if you put the icon on your desktop, the Empower Connect icon is a lightning bolt with blue and gray on either side. Double-click the icon to get started. Once Empower Connect opens, you will notice a user agreement. Make sure to read over your user agreement and hit accept. Starting on the left-hand side, we will go through each available menu: File, Tools, Window, Troubleshooting, and Help. The File menu has three options: Preference, Import, and Export. When I click on Preferences, it gives me a few options on some things I can change within Empower Connect, such as automatically search for system controllers on startup. Make sure to leave this unchecked if I would like to connect to a component. If not, if I check this particular box, it will automatically search for a controller on startup. It will not give you the option to select a component. I can also change my unit preferences from imperial to metric. Also down below, I have my RP1210 device, which is the expected device used when connecting to a component or an EMP system. Below the RP1210 device, I have EMP Data Link Adapter Chooser. This is covered in another video named the same. Once I have changed all of my preferences, I can click OK to move on to my next menu. Up on the File button, I have an Import menu. This menu is used whenever I get a special file from EMP. I can use the import function to make sure that file is imported into my Empower Connect service tool. Next, we have Tools. Within the Tools menu, I have several EMP service tools that are downloaded when you download the service suite. My Window button is next, and this allows me to have the Empower Connect screen in full size. Next to Window, we have Troubleshooting. Within my Troubleshooting menu, I have a Troubleshooting Manual, Diagnostic Code, and EMP Website. The Troubleshooting Manual will open up a troubleshooting manual for my component or my system. The Diagnostic Code list will do the same for a component or a system. And then lastly, this gives me the ability to connect to EMP's website if I have a valid wireless connection or a wired connection. The last menu we have is Help. Three options here. EMP Service Suite. This will open up our tutorial on the Service Suite, so you are able to go in and look over anything that you may not understand or you want to learn more about. Then we have our License Agreement, and then our About Service tool. Clicking on the About Service tool, this will give me the service tool version that I'm currently using, which can be helpful to your service contact when you may have an issue. Once I've become familiar with all of the menus up top, now I want to connect to my system or controller. To do so, you can press F2 on your keyboard or click the F2 connection button. Once I click F2, you'll notice that a connection selection menu comes up. As you'll notice, there are three options in the connection selection menu. The first option is RP1210 DLA plus mini hybrid system or TMC. This is the option you will use to connect to a mini hybrid system or a thermal management controller. Next, you have the RP1210 DLA plus component controller. This is the option you're going to use to connect to any CAN components. Again, these are CAN components. Lastly, you have the EMP DLA plus component controller. These are all of your non-CAN components and your WP32. Once I've determined my connection method, make sure to click on the appropriate box to connect to that particular component or system. Once I do so, you will notice that a little menu will come up and will connect you to your component or your system. If there are any questions on this particular presentation, please contact service at emp-corp.com.